Charles III, New King, New Court, The Inside Story. Written and read by Robert Hardman. Introduction. Like Elizabeth II before him, King Charles III is content to be judged on his record and will not be giving periodic interviews from the throne. Having interviewed him and spoken to him many times when he was Prince of Wales, I had formed a clear and rounded impression of the heir to the throne long before his accession. Similarly, I had also met the then Duchess of Cornwall on frequent occasions, whether on royal tours, or at her Clarence House events for her many causes, or interviewing her for documentaries. Both of them would always be the genuine article. You did not, as with some in the public eye, wonder which persona might greet you on any given day. At the time of the death of Elizabeth II, people frequently asked what the new king and queen were really like. The answer lay before us already. They were never going to undergo some sort of character bypass or transplant. But how would they respond to events for which no one could ever be fully prepared? No previous monarch had taken on the role at this stage in life. It is worth considering that when Elizabeth II was the same age, she was approaching her Golden Jubilee. How would the couple rise to this monumental challenge? In this new and even more scrutinized existence, what would they think of us and we of them? I have been allowed inside to follow it all: the trauma, the transition, and the establishment of the new modus vivendi. Now and then, I have been alongside a television camera, more often with just pen and notebook. I have not sought to write a full-life biography. No sooner was this book first published in early 2024 than the monarchy had to come to terms with two grave personal challenges. Both the King and the Princess of Wales were diagnosed with different, but unspecified forms of cancer, and proceeded to undergo long-term treatment immediately. The King announced his condition upon discovery of the disease in February 2024. The Princess revealed her own in March, as her children broke up from school. At a personal level, the impact was as distressing as it might be for any family suddenly confronted with a cancer diagnosis. For the monarchy, so soon after a change of reign, there were clearly operational questions, given the reduced capacity of an already depleted workforce. This new updated edition explains how the individuals, the rest of the family, and the institution came to terms with what many in the media were calling a full-blown crisis. If it felt like that some of the time, it also succeeded in making the monarchy feel perhaps more relatable than ever. As well as raising grave anxieties about the ability of an already slimmed-down operation to slim further still, it would also highlight some unexpected strengths. To paraphrase the old wartime slogan, the King would adopt a policy of keep calm and adapt. Not that he had much choice. At the time of writing, he continues to do so. This is a contemporary portrait of our new monarch and his new court. It is also a ringside account of what happens when you take over from the most famous woman in the world to lead Britain's preeminent institution, to be the head of its most famous family, and also to become sovereign of a greater area of the planet than any other head of state on Earth. Chapter 1. C. Rex. The King is making his rounds of Windsor Great Park. Since succeeding to the throne at the age of 73, he has had much to absorb, both as head of state and head of the most famous family in the land. Among his new responsibilities, an optional rather than a hereditary one, is that of Ranger of the Great Park, a royal hunting ground for deer since the days of William the Conqueror. Today, the ranger's duty is to protect the wildlife, along with everything else in these 5,000 acres of parkland, woods and gardens. Together with his full-time deputy ranger, the King is slowly nudging towards a herd of
Sample complete. Ready to continue?